We've got the newest litmus test to see if somebody has Trump derangement syndrome. That and more coming right up. Peach Pundit, the podcast, is a conversation filled with the personal opinions of the people who are participating. Any view or opinion expressed belongs only to the person who expressed it and not with anyone with whom that person is professionally affiliated. I'm so happy that you've decided to join us for another Peach Pundit, the podcast. My name is Scott Turner. That is Buzz Brockway. Buzz, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well, man. Doing well.
Yeah, we're Pieless again. You know, if you stuck around to the very last of the podcast, Pi said, yeah, I might come around every once in a while.
We had a small slice of pie, so to speak.
A small slice of pie. You know, it makes it taste better, really, if you take it and...
Yeah, that's true.
If you don't eat it every day, you have a slice of pie every week or two or three, or maybe every couple of months. It tastes better
for the waistline.
Better for your health.
Yes.
Better for your health. Do you watch Georgia football, being a Tech guy yourself at all?
Sometimes I do. I did see, I saw bits of the Auburn game.
You're right.
I actually happened to see the infamous, was it a fumble? Was it not a fumble?
Was it a touchdown?
At the goal line. Yeah. Was it a touchdown? I did happen to see that. And
it is the perfect encapsulation of tribalism on display, using college sports as the analogy.
Yes. If you love Georgia, that was clearly a fumble and should have been a touchdown the other way.
Right.
If you don't, which is,
if you're an Auburn fan,
of
that was a touchdown and they got screwed.
Yes.
If you're a Georgia fan, Kirby Smart was just clapping. If you're an Auburn fan, he was calling a timeout.
I mean, I know that the Georgia fans, I love y'all, hypersensitive. So I don't talk a whole lot about Georgia football because they get so angry. I've got a bunch of them mad at me now because, on Twitter, I pointed out, well, Tech is catching grief, for moving clean old-fashioned hate, for accepting $10 million and moving clean old-fashioned hate this year to Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Which
I don't like it. Not
3 miles south of
the
flats. Right?
And not a lot of Tech fans are excited about it. I understand it, and it's kind of a don't hate the player, hate the game kind of situation, because this is the world we live in college football. If somebody offers you $10 million to move your rivalry game, you move it because that's $10 million.
Well, it's not like you're moving it to a different city either. You're moving it 3 miles south in the same city, and not for nothing. But you took me to a Tech game last year. I would much rather go see a game at Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah. Now, and also, I mean, well, we could talk about this all night, but I'll keep it brief. Tech is about to, at the end of next football season, or no, the end of this football season, rather, we will begin some renovations to our stadium that will create nicer luxury boxes and also take out the aluminum benches that we've had and replace them with chair backs. It's going to be nice. That moving this game lets us start that construction a little bit earlier, and it gives us $10 million to help pay for it.
Right.
But right. I learned this week the cocktail party, but with Florida and Georgia, it will be played in Mercedes-Benz next year. And then apparently in Tampa Bay the next year. Georgia fans are very quick to point out that this is because there are massive renovations going on at that stadium down there in Jacksonville. Fine. They're getting $7.5 million to do that. Now, Tech's getting more, but they're getting $7.5 million to play that game in Mercedes-Benz next year. They could have played it on campus, which at one point in time Kirby Smart wanted to do. He wanted to no more neutral sites. So anyway, they get very upset about that. And my tweet has been viewed, 30,000 times already, and I got 100 comments. Most of them like nerd, begin with "Hey nerd,"
Well, the only
but
reason
it was clearly a
up...
timeout. Okay, he was clearly calling a timeout. Now Auburn might have been clapping. They probably should have been penalized for clapping, but Kirby Smart was clearly calling a timeout, and Kevin Butler even agrees with me. Okay, the great Georgia dog Kevin Butler agrees with me.
All I'm saying is it's the perfect analog for where we find ourselves in politics in America today, where if you see something, you're seeing it through the lens of your team.
Yes.
And in the UGA football game this past weekend, it was all about whether or not you were a fan of Auburn or a fan of Georgia.
Thankfully, violence only reaches drunken fisticuffs, not any stupid death threats. I'm not aware of, in South American countries, there have been soccer players murdered over the performance of the team, but
I
nothing
remember
like that here.
A San Francisco Giants fan getting beat up at Dodger Stadium for wearing a Giants jersey in the bleachers out in the outfield. That's probably not a smart move on that guy's part, but and that was years ago.
And that was there was a reason why Chipper Jones didn't take his family to Philadelphia or New York.
Well, we're gonna dive into this tribalism thing a little bit more because Trump is having a moment, and how you see that moment, if you're not like Buzz and I, where you're going to try to, we play for Team Red. That's what I've been told. But how you see that moment might matter, or how you see it playing out might be impacted by your political persuasion. But it's irrefutable. Trump's having a moment. So we'll get into that right after this.
Peach Pundit has an anonymous Patreon who would like to invite you to learn more about the Alzheimer's Association. The Alzheimer's Association leads the way to end Alzheimer's and all other dementia by accelerating global research, driving risk reduction and early detection, and maximizing quality care and support. No one should fight Alzheimer's alone. With your help, no one will. Learn more on their website, alz.org.
Americans for Prosperity Georgia champions economic freedom and individual liberty across this state. They advocate for lower taxes, less government spending, and regulatory reform while mobilizing citizens to engage in the legislative process. Beyond just economic issues, AFP Georgia is committed to more choice in K-12 education for all students and removing barriers in healthcare like Certificate of Need. If you'd like to learn more about our friends at Americans for Prosperity, visit them at ga.americansforprosperity.org. Thank you to Tony West and all of our friends at AFP for being a partner-level Patreon. If you too would like to be a Patreon, head on over to patreon.com/peachpundit. Sign up for one of those tiers today. I also want to remind our audience that every once in a while we do give away merch. If you leave a comment wherever you listen, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or YouTube channel, leave a comment. You'll be entered into our, whenever I feel like giving away merch, contest.
Random drawings. Scott's in the mood.
Every comment that you make gets you an extra entrant. And Lawton Sack got our last t-shirt that went out. According to the tracking information that was delivered. Lawton has yet to send us a photo of himself wearing that t-shirt, but hopefully it fits well. But thank you to all of our Patreons. You do help keep the lights on. So Donald Trump is on the cover of Time magazine.
Yes.
We won't talk about the photo.
He wasn't happy with the photo, apparently.
Well, I don't care about it. This isn't about the photo. It was a bad photo, though.
Yes,
it was a bad. I mean, it's an objectively bad.
It's kind of like if we had to put him, we have to put him on the cover. But
that's not the. I mean, you're putting him on the cover with these headlines.
Yes,
his triumph.
Yep.
The leader Israel needed. Mm-hmm. How Gaza heals.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Donald Trump.
Yep.
Donald Trump has delivered on one of his major campaign promises to bring more peace. I don't know that there'll ever be long-lasting, durable peace in the Middle East. But for now, all of the remaining hostages from October 7th are home.
We should differentiate. It's the living hostages.
The living hostages.
Hamas has not already reneged on its word and has not returned all of the bodies of the dead hostages. But nevertheless, it doesn't undermine. That's just a predictable response from Hamas, but it doesn't undermine the amazing thing that President Trump pulled off here and his team. Right?
This is an objectively major accomplishment
Yes.
on Donald Trump and his team and his administration.
Yep.
This is a check in the box of something good that he has done.
Yep.
And if you see this as anything other than that, I think this is the new litmus test for Trump derangement syndrome. I get picked on because I'm willing to say I don't like tariffs.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't like the military enforcing civil law. I also don't like jawboning and creating this precedent where the president can tell a network who they should have on the air.
Yes.
Even if I think Jimmy Kimmel's a piece of human fecal matter, I do not want the president creating that type of precedent, because who knows how Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris or whatever AOCs, if they ever get the White House and they're sitting behind the Resolute desk, how they're going to do that stuff. I want the government to be as limited in their power as possible.
Yes.
And that to me, so I criticize Trump probably more than the average Republican. I don't disagree with him on everything. I do not suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. This is proof. It's a major win.
Yes. Huge. I mean, no, it really is. And it's an ambitious plan. 20 points, I think it has to the plan. But he brought to the table a broad coalition of people who are willing, including several Muslim nations, Arab nations, neighbors.
Egypt.
Yes. Saudi Arabia, I believe, is part of that. UAE.
Qatar.
Yes. Brought some important players to the table there that can help make this thing become a reality. Yeah, as you mentioned, that's an unstable region. There are already indications, as I mentioned, that Hamas isn't interested in, but they gave up the living hostages, and that was huge and such an unbelievable relief for the people of Israel and for Jews around the world to see that happen. So, yeah, kudos to him. It's quite an astounding feat to pull this off.
Moving on, kudos to Trump and also Marco Rubio and the whole team. Again, just congratulations. Well done. We're proud of you.
Yes. And Scott, to your point about the litmus test, would it have really killed Obama to mention Trump's name?
Yeah.
In his little, his statement was fine, except it was as if it occurred in a vacuum somehow.
As if Trump never wasn't involved. Right.
Yeah. It just sprung up out of the ground somehow. Right. Not the relentless hard work. Even former President Biden mentioned Trump's name in his congratulatory piece. So
as he should, as he should. I remember when Obama got Osama bin Laden. Every Republican had to give him his kudos for that.
Yeah,
we've been trying to do it for years, and he pulled it off. He gave the order.
Yes,
and there are some fascinating documentaries about that. There's some the guys who were on the SEAL team who went in to assassinate bin Laden in Islamabad. If you're not familiar, go look it up. Go watch some of those documentaries, because they're now talking. They're allowed to talk, and they're talking now. And the stories that they're telling are incredible.
Yeah.
But it was Obama who had to make the call. And it wasn't guaranteed that this thing was going to go off with hitch. As a matter of fact, we lost one of our helicopters during that thing. And we all had to stand in that moment and say, we stand with our president. We're proud of him.
That was a great day for America.
It was. It absolutely was.
Yes, Obama's to be congratulated for.
But Obama can't do the same thing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Moving on. But we had some sad news. And if there hadn't been peace in the Middle East, this would have been the first story tonight, because it hits home. And State Representative Mandi Ballinger, who was the chairman of the Juvenile Justice Committee and the House of Representatives for many years, I came in with her. She was a member of my delegation. Our districts bumped up against each other quite a bit. We both represented parts of Cherokee County. She developed cancer while in office. It changed her physically, but not mentally. Yep. And she was still very sharp as a tack, one of the more brilliant minds at the Gold Dome. But she finally succumbed at the age of 50 to her cancer over the weekend. Her services will be this week. Yep. But I just want to take a moment to recognize her and her passion, her specific passion and service was the juvenile justice lane. She was the preeminent subject matter expert on juvenile justice issues in the state. There will not be an easy replacement for her because she was so invested. She lived it. She was very passionate about it. But I'll let you take a few minutes to remember Mandi as well.
No, I mean, obviously I wasn't as close to her as you were, not being in the...
Now, here's the thing, too. I've been getting texts about this, too, and I just want to clear this up. Mandi and I were not very close.
Well, I meant in the same delegation.
We were in the same delegation, but I've gotten text messages giving me condolences and stuff. I mean, it has impacted me because I respected her, but I wouldn't say that we were friendly. I just want to make sure that those of you who text me, I don't even know how to respond to those texts. It's about her. And anyway, I just wanted to make sure that that was clear.
Yeah. No, I had a lot of respect for her as well. And she was a friend to a great many people in the legislature. And as you said, Scott, her passion for righting the wrongs that children suffer was evident. And she worked on it round the clock. Even when they were not in session, she was working on those issues. So,
when a legislator is a freshman and they bring their first bill and they're standing in the well and everybody's kind of grilling them and giving a little hazing and whatever. Well, Mandi's first bill was about allowing CASA, that's the court appointed
special advocates, right?
Special advocate for children.
Yes.
To be in the courtroom to help kids when they were recounting their most traumatic experiences. We're talking, sorry, Miss Laura, we're talking about things like child rape and abuse. These people who work for CASA really are there to help the kids through that moment. They build these close personal bonds with these kids. And that was her first bill, was to allow them to remain in the courtroom when this confidential stuff was being discussed. And that was her first bill. It was impossible to haze her.
Yes.
You're not going to haze Mandi Ballinger as a freshman rep bringing that piece of legislation. But those were the types of really important things that improve the quality of victims' lives that Mandi Ballinger worked on. And she's going to be hugely missed because of it. The unfortunate part of this is for Cherokee County, and it's weird to talk about it, but we're a political podcast, so we sort of have to, and that is there will be a special election again in Cherokee County, the same patch of dirt that just had Brandon Beach leave because the huge portion of Mandi's district overlapped with this 21st Senate district that Brandon Beach used to represent before he took his appointment as the U.S. Treasurer. And that went to a runoff. So we're going to have yet another special election coming up that has not been called. We don't know what the dates are.
Right.
But it would have to be sometime November, December.
Right. Because they want you want the seat filled.
Right.
Before...
in time for the session. And there will likely be a runoff if there's multiple candidates. Some of the candidates that just ran for the state Senate live inside that district and others do not. So like Steve West lives in Jan Jones's district as an example. He's not going to be eligible to run. I think Bryce Futch might live there. I'm not sure about the others. I definitely know Brian Will does not. The funny thing is the other night I went to our friend Michael Caldwell is up for re-election as mayor of Woodstock, and this socialist, and I'm not kidding, she's a socialist, is running against him to be mayor of Woodstock.
Yes.
On a platform that Michael Caldwell somehow is not accessible enough. This is a guy who has a Saturday morning coffee where anybody can come talk with him and have coffee with him. I'm talking anybody can go have coffee with Michael Caldwell every single week. And Michael Caldwell, there was a debate last week, and Michael Caldwell stood on the stage and said, "That's interesting. I'm the most accessible politician in Georgia history. I'm just going to claim that. And by the way, here's my cell phone number. It's the same one I've had since I was 16, and it's the one my wife calls me on. And I'll repeat it for you twice. Anyway, he's up for re-election.
If you just just glance at his Instagram page every now and then, Mayor Caldwell and his family are at every stinking event that Woodstock has.
If you don't like coffee and you'd rather go have beer, Reformation Brewery, the t-shirt that I'm wearing here, Reformation Brewery every week has trivia night. You'll find Mayor Caldwell at Reformation Brewery with his team of trivia people, his little know-it-alls,
Yeah.
winning trivia night every week. Probably not a good re-election plan to beat everybody at trivia. We got to let them win every once in a while, Mike. But I bring that up because that special election is that's a regular called a municipal election. But we have the Public Service Commission race at the same time. And for those who haven't been following, we haven't had Public Service Commission races in like 6 years.
Yes.
Because a federal judge was trying to figure out if the model that we use for PSC elections is constitutional. The way it works is we have districts.
Right.
The commissioner for the Public Service Commission must live within that district, but everybody statewide votes for every single race. And there's 2 of them up. The incumbents are Fitz. What's his name?
Yep. Fitz Johnson. Yep.
Fitz Johnson. He's a Fulbright colonel.
FITZ.
Yeah. And the other guy. This is the
Tim
problem.
Eccles.
Tim Eccles. This is the problem. I know both of those names. I know I'm supposed to go vote. Early voting has already started.
Yes.
But we haven't had one of these races in 6 years because this judge tied it up and decided, the way they do it is fine. But the legislature had to go figure out, how do we do this now? So they created legislation this year. It's actually by legislation that this election would be run now on election day with these municipal elections.
Yeah.
Buzz, have you gone to vote yet?
I have not.
Have you forgotten that you need to go vote, Buzz?
No.
See, I have.
Well, I have the advantage in that the library down the street from me is an early voting location. And so there are flags and signs and all that stuff. So I was like, early voting has started.
There are 2 other special elections.
Yes, Shelley Hutchinson.
Shelley Hutchinson.
House District 106. House. Yeah.
That's up your way, right? The 1-0s are in Gwinnett.
Yep.
And Jason Esteves, senator from the 35th, that's Cobb and Fulton counties, have left their seats. Jason Esteves' special election to replace him, because Jason Esteves is running for governor.
Yep.
The special election to replace him is on November 18th. So it's a couple of weeks behind the PSC municipal elections.
Right.
But early voting for that race begins on October 27th.
Interesting.
And November 4th is a PSC race. Can we just talk about election fatigue?
Out loud, so if you want to go and vote in the PSC race and also vote in the special to replace Senator Esteves, you got to get 2 ballots? You got to get 2 ballots.
They're 2 different elections. It's possible that you could go vote in person on election day on November 4th and get an early ballot.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is how they're going to do it, but I mean, I imagine it's possible that you would get basically 2 ballots at one time. I don't know. Somebody.
You got to think.
I know the state election board people watch this show religiously. So tell me how you're going to do it.
Yeah, because you got to, they got to match your ballot to the election. So wouldn't shock me if you had to stand in line twice.
Somebody from Cobb County elections.
Especially because if you're voting on election day.
Jason Shepard, I know
that's not,
us.
When you go to vote, it's actually a form of absentee voting when
Correct.
You go to vote early.
Right.
But
if you go vote on election day on November 4th, you could pull an early ballot that same day.
Yeah.
I hope you don't have to stand in line a second.
My guess is, and the crazy thing is too, then if you live in a city, then you got to go to City Hall and vote in a different location.
Depending on whether or not the city is contracted with the county to do it at the same time.
Some of them haven't.
Correct. So that is nuts. All this is to say, you should probably go visit the My Voter page of the Secretary of State's.
Yes.
I keep
see what you can
about
and can't do, where you need to go, who you can vote for at what time.
And where are you going to go vote? Because if you're in a municipality at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, there is one concern I have as somebody who's looking at as a numbers guy is you have these Democrats who sort of try to target the day. They try to time their departure from the legislature.
Yeah.
In this case, Jason Esteves, so that the special election would be on the same day as the PSC, driving up Democratic turnout.
Yes.
And if you haven't noticed, I mean, Cole Musio talked about this when he filled in for Buzz. We've talked about it ad nauseum with the special election for Senate District 21 because the Democrat outpaced Kamala Harris by 10 points, overperformed. There is an enthusiasm gap right now in Georgia between Democrats and Republican voters, and Democrats have far more enthusiasm than Republicans do. You have this statewide election essentially happening right now. You can go vote right now in your early place. If you live anywhere in the state and you're a registered voter, you can go vote for PSC right now.
Right.
I see some Facebook posts from Fitz Johnson. I see some Facebook posts from Tim Echols. I haven't gotten any mail. I haven't gotten any phone calls or texts. I do get occasional pings from legislators in my area saying I have endorsed Fitz Johnson and Tim Echols, but there's just not a lot of momentum here.
Yes.
Are you concerned?
Yes. Yeah, I am concerned because, it's very difficult. These are down ballot in normal elections, right? These are down ballot. As you mentioned, you were struggling to remember Tim Echols' name, and he's been on the commission for a long time. It's hard.
He got elected before I did.
It's hard to remember these things. And it's hard for these guys to raise a lot of money to do a whole lot of advertising.
They don't have a top of the ticket to help them along.
Yes.
You don't have a
They
Brian
are
Kemp.
the top of the ticket, right?
Right.
Now, I mean, as you mentioned, there are there's a SPLOST in Gwinnett County, which probably doesn't help the Republicans. Well, although maybe it does. I mean, there's a small contingent who are rallying against it. There are every time there's an eSPLOST, education SPLOST renewal here.
Right. We have T-SPLOST on our ballot.
So there's those kinds of things. It's, other sorts of things to help bring people to the polls, but not, I think we're going to see exceedingly small turnout here. And that's where it gets scary because you just don't know. Small things like, the special election to replace Shelley Hutchinson, the people voting early in the race to replace Jason Esteves can potentially swing this thing.
This is where, we have 4 sitting senators running for lieutenant governor. If they had all done the same thing, they could have helped.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. To counteract. But they want to wait and duke it out on the floor of the Senate. So
I guess. I don't know what the upside there is. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about why you should never, ever, ever mention your affection for Hitler in any environment, but especially text messages in a group chat that you think nobody else is watching. That's just, my God, these people.
Golden Retriever Rescue of Atlanta, GRRA, is an all-volunteer, tax-deductible charitable organization. They are dedicated to providing veterinary care, comprehensive evaluation, and foster and adoptive homes to golden and Labrador retrievers who are abandoned, mistreated, neglected, or left in shelters throughout Georgia. We encourage you to visit their website grra.com and help connect people and dogs that need each other in their lives. You truly can make this world a better place by helping find homes of gold for these golden-hearted pups.
Conservatives Concerned is a network of political and social conservatives who question the alignment of capital punishment with conservative principles and values. Our programs include educating conservatives about the failed death penalty system and mobilizing them to bring about its end. We come to this issue for a variety of reasons. Some believe that small government and the death penalty don't go together, especially when we compare the high costs of capital punishment to life without possibility of release. Some don't trust the state to get it right. We already know that some innocent people have been sentenced to death, and for others, it may already be too late. Some believe that the death penalty contradicts our values about protecting life. Find out more at conservativesconcerned.org.
Yesterday, Politico released an article. The headline was, "I Love Hitler. Leaked messages expose young Republicans' racist chat." I'll read you the first 2 paragraphs. You can go find the article yourself. Leaders of young Republican groups throughout the country worried what would happen if their Telegram chat ever got leaked, but they kept typing anyway. They referred to Black people as monkeys and the watermelon people, and mused about putting their political opponents in gas chambers. They talked about raping their enemies and driving them to suicide, and lauded Republicans they believed supported slavery. Buzz, you and I have been part of some text messages, chats, group chats. I've never seen anything like this. Never seen anything like this in any of the chats that I've been part of. And obviously, it's young Republicans. Young Republicans can be an oxymoron. You can be 40 years old and be a member of the Young Republicans. I was a chapter president of Young Republicans at the age of 36.
Yeah, apparently our vice president isn't aware of that. He called these people kids.
Well, some of them I think are in the administration, if I'm not mistaken. But there's just some pretty vile stuff. Now, I play video games, and as a result of video game culture, you're in chats where you look up, you're in big groups. I don't ever talk this way in any of my chats. I have seen lots of people talk this way in those chats. I do not play games with those people. We're talking about big groups, like 200-300 people who are just looking for somebody to play for a game with for that evening, a specific type of game. And they're just looking for a group. LFG means looking for group in some of these, not let's go. Sorry, Miss Laura. But that's all that to say is this was my initial reaction. I was more on the JD Vance side of this equation of there's no way to know if they actually meant it. I'm not excusing it. I'm not trying to say this is okay. I don't think it's okay, especially with these people, if they have any type of ambitions, because you don't know if they meant it. But I have been in the military where I was the only white guy and they were all throwing the N-word at each other. I was never going to do that myself.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've been in that environment where I was the one guy and they're all talking to each other as if I was one of them. Mm-hmm. And they're throwing that word around at each other like it's nothing. It's like, hey, you.
Sure.
Like I would say brother, meaning like my brother in Christ. I couldn't even say brother to these guys, right? That's not something that didn't mean the same.
Or
thing.
watch 5 minutes of any Dave Chappelle special, right? Show. You'll hear that.
I cannot talk like Dave Chappelle.
No, not at all.
That's just off limits to a white guy in America. And I know that, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But what was your reaction? Were you on the JD Vance side, or were you more on?
No, I mean, look, it's. I guess having read some stuff about the kinds of online environments that the man accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk were involved in, it was a different kind of coarse, offensive language, right?
Right.
I think unfortunately, it's we need to come up with a new law. It's sort of a perversion of Godwin's law, and you older folks who've been around the internet a while remember Godwin's law, or was the longer any political discussion goes on, the probability of somebody invoking Hitler approaches 1. This is some kind of perversion of that, and I think that's true in a lot of online discussion. These chat groups that people engage in, but these folks, most of them, ought to know better. They ought to know better. They ought to be mature enough to not talk like that. Or, and we haven't seen all of them. Perhaps this happened in this group. I don't know how many people in these chats, but Politico didn't say, here are the handful of people who were saying, knock it off, guys, don't talk like this. Maybe that happened. We don't know.
I don't think, look, I've been being part of it's just, you ignore it and move on. If you have a problem with it in those environments, you ignore it and move on.
Yes.
That's typically what happens. You don't usually see somebody, but somebody decided it had reached too much.
Yes.
And they took screenshots and leaked it.
Right.
So there's the lesson for you young folk is
there is
no safe place for you to be acting foolish.
Yes.
And you're acting foolish, but don't do it. The internet lives forever.
Yes.
Don't do it. The reason why this is a Georgia story and why we're going to talk about this is because I wanted to bring up the Georgia Young Republicans reaction, because they put out this statement and it needs to be celebrated. I want to celebrate the Georgia Young Republicans. The Georgia Young Republicans condemn in the strongest possible terms the reprehensible comments and conduct from a private chat among certain members of the Young Republican National Organization that were recently leaked. These comments and actions are antithetical to the principles and beliefs of the Republican Party and Young Republicans. Such hateful rhetoric has no place in our organization. We as Republicans believe that all peoples should be judged on the content of their character, not skin color, ethnicity, or religious affiliation. The comments made in the chat are beneath the dignity of the Republican Party and the Young Republicans. Bigotry, hate, and personal attacks, whether spoken in public or in private, violate the principles of respect, character, and leadership that define us as Young Republicans. We stand for a Republican movement built on ideas, integrity, and service, not on division or degradation. We call on every young Republican leader across the country to hold themselves and their peers to the highest standards of decency and discipline worthy of the cause we serve. Signed, the Georgia Young Republican Executive Board.
Yeah, and to my knowledge, there's been some of the leaders, perhaps I haven't scanned their Facebook or Twitter accounts to see this, but I've heard from some of them. As far as they know, not a single member of the Georgia YR groups, official YR groups across the state, were members of that chat group that was exposed.
And now there's some, I wanted to highlight the responses. I'm reading that statement off of the GYR official Twitter account.
Yep.
I'm going to read the first 5 responses. I see the Republicans are glad to join forces with the woke left and thought police and wave their virtue signals. Grow a pair. Second response, you're gay. Third response, ignore it, losers. Fourth response, cowards, this is why the GOP will lose. You are too scared to do what it takes to win.
Is this what it takes to win? I mean, are these knuckleheads saying that the kind of language that you saw in there, that's what it takes to win? Because that's not winning. It's outrageous that people think that that is acceptable. It's really right, Scott. It's indicative of what you were talking about earlier, the political, we dig in on our own side so deeply that we end up being a fool and having to defend idiots in a chat room, invoking Hitler and saying all sorts of other hateful, idiotic things. No, those people should never work in politics again. The people who posted those sorts of things, whatever their jobs are, whatever role they play in politics now, they should never work in politics again. We don't need them.
Matt Walsh, who is a conservative thought leader.
A professing Christian thought leader, by the way, to relate to what you're about to mention here.
Tweets, the right doesn't stick together. That's our biggest problem by far. Conservatives are quick to denounce each other, jump on dog piles, disavow, attack their allies. I said a few weeks ago that all we need to do is band together in the wake of Charlie's death. And the answer I got back from a lot of people on the right was basically no. Well, okay then, guys. We'll just lose instead. The left will keep up the united front and defend their guys no matter what, while we keep throwing each other to the wolves at every opportunity. Great plan. And I'm going to read to you now Erickson's response. As someone who's quite successfully ran political campaigns before I got into punditry, no disrespect intended, but this partisan political take is badly flawed. Let me tell you why I respectfully disagree with Matt Walsh. The Republican Party, which will not keep us the united front and defend their guys no matter what, controls the House, Senate, White House, and Supreme Court. We control 56% of state legislative seats in the nation. We control 41.5% of trifectas, i.e. control of legislatures and governor's mansion, compared to 36.5% of the left. The GOP has 27 governors to the Democrats' 23. Right is not a victim, and we should stop whining about being victims. Additionally, our success is our greater willingness to police ourselves. The left failed to drive out the communists, the anti-Semites, the trans agitators, etc. Now they've descended into madness. The public has moved right because the left does not police their own. In short, we are winning because we do not behave like the left. And should we start behaving like the left, the American people will reject us. I
Hear, hear.
started out from a point of view of I'm willing to give kids the benefit of the doubt, right? But as I started thinking about this more, that was my first knee-jerk reaction. I'm with you, Buzz. We have to police our own. We absolutely have to police our own. Otherwise, to your point that you made earlier about the left and their private places and where they discuss things, we have a candidate running for attorney general in Virginia who has fantasized about seeing the child of one of his political opponents die in their mother's arms.
Yep.
And Spanberger, who's running for governor, has endorsed that candidate and has been asked on multiple occasions, will you still vote for him? Do you still endorse him? And she won't answer the yes or no question.
Yeah. That was talk about political word salad in the clip that was going around from a debate the other day.
Yeah, the debate for the other day was the reporter who was moderating that debate asked her 3 separate times, yes, are you willing to withdraw your endorsement of Jay Jones? Is the guy who his text messages came out and they're horrific. They're on the same level, frankly. Yeah. If you don't think they're on the same level, you're looking at it through the lens of your tribe. You're like a Georgia or an Alabama fan. They're both bad. It's okay to say they're both bad. And these are not the people that we should be elevating into leadership positions. I'm sorry. There's somebody else out there who isn't doing that, who can still articulate a conservative message and why they believe what they believe and not have to rely on this just because they decided at a young age they wanted to get involved in politics and they screwed it up. Sorry. There are no mulligans. There are no mulligans, and we have to police ourselves. Otherwise, it's going to continue to descend into chaos. You have a left right now that's not willing to do it. What makes us different, what makes us the shining city on a hill, is that we are different this way. We do not tolerate this stuff. If it was high school kids who were like just being really dumb and stupid and ignorant, but I mean, you can be 40 years old and be in the YRs, man.
Yes.
It's a harder pill to swallow. It just is. Anyway.
Yeah. I don't really. It's a shame. We'll see what kind of consequences flow upon these people. But
if they ever run for office, it's going to be going to be a millstone around their neck.
Yeah.
It's an albatross. Good luck.
But I mean, in our Signal chat, one of the members in the Signal chat sent us another story that I guess just emerged this afternoon of a congressional staffer with an American flag that is a swastika in the middle of it. I hope that person is now unemployed. And all and any Republican member of Congress better go patrol your office or have your chief of staff go patrol your office and see if there are any idiotic young staffers there doing.
I didn't see that. What. Tell me about the story. Give me more detail because I didn't.
So it's I don't remember the congressman's name. It's a person who works for a congressman from Ohio. Capitol Police called to investigate swastika in GOP congressional office. An American flag altered to include an image of a swastika was found in Representative Dave Taylor's office. He's a Republican from Ohio. The congressman said, I'm aware of the image that appears to depict a vile and deeply inappropriate symbol near an employee in my office. The content of the image does not reflect the values or standards of this office, my staff, or myself. I condemn it in the strongest terms. Taylor said he immediately directed a thorough investigation alongside the Capitol Police, adding no further comment will be provided until it has been completed. So I think if it's not happening right now, every Republican member of Congress better be looking around their offices to see if there are any young Republican morons working for them.
Jeez, Pete. Why? I don't even have thoughts. It's just why?
People are stupid. There are really stupid people. They think themselves edgy and brave when they're not. They're just idiot.
You know what the real problem is? That there's enough of them that they feel safety in numbers.
Yeah.
That they double down. That they're willing to go ahead.
We can say this, Scott. This is a consequence of the right, by and large, failing to drive out people like Nick Fuentes and people of that ilk from our midst. This is a consequence of that. It winds up with all these people saying these sorts of things in a chat group of leading young Republicans. It winds up with some moron putting a perverted American flag in his office as he works for a congressman from Ohio.
Boy. All right. One of the reasons, I think, is because you have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene out there who are talking about Jewish space lasers.
Play footsie with anti-Semitism.
Yeah. I mean, you go hang out with Nick Fuentes and you think that's, I'll go anywhere to talk about MAGA. Come on. I mean, never forget, dear listener, Marjorie Taylor Greene is only moments away from donning a pink knitted hat and becoming a full-fledged member of Code Pink. And to illustrate that point, we're going to play a game. I sort of prepped Buzz a little bit about this. I didn't put it in the agenda, so it's a surprise. We should have done it in the first half, I guess.
We'll see if
but maybe we can bounce back with. Yeah.
I performed poorly last time you pulled this on me. So.
Yeah. The game is who said it, right? The game is who said it. The potential people that you can pick from for who said it is Marjorie Taylor Greene,
right?
Stacey Abrams, or Jeff Duncan.
Oh, man.
All right. You can say any one of those.
I'm predicting failure on my part here, but we'll give it a shot.
Who said it? 12,000 plus Georgians are considered homeless every night. A majority are just one affordable roof over their head away from being able to get their life back together. Housing first should be expanded statewide. Who said it?
Jeff Duncan.
Bingo. Well done. Are you reading the reflection of my eyeglasses? I need to turn my head.
No, I'm not. No cheating involved.
All right. This is on home sales. Home sales. Okay. Families should not be punished with massive tax bills. Who said it?
Families should not. That's the quote. Families should not be punished with massive tax bills.
When specifically talking about the sale of homes.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. Very good.
Whoa.
You're getting warmed up.
Now, if you read a steamy quote from one of Stacey Abrams' novels, I'll be stumped by that.
Here you go. Georgia taxpayers will directly benefit from this historic cut. I applaud the governor and my colleagues.
Jeff Duncan.
All right. Staying on taxes. Go scroll around here.
Man, a 3 for 3.
GOP takes tax cuts and ignores Americans' pleas for change. GOP takes tax cuts and ignores Americans' pleas for change.
Stacey Abrams?
Also Jeff Duncan. Let me give you an easy one.
Okay.
All right. Well, folks, liberal gun grabbers are angry about my A rating from the NRA and strong support of the Second Amendment.
Jeff Duncan.
Wow, you're really good at this. Republicans have guns wrong. Absolutely wrong. I'm with 90% of Americans that want to see universal background checks and 85% that want to have red flag laws. As governor, we'll look for opportunities to strengthen our gun safety laws in every which way possible.
Jeff Duncan.
I'm going to support folks like myself that want Second Amendment to be strong. Those are things that the Constitution affords us the rights to have, and I'm going to fight hard for them.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Jeff Duncan. Healthcare cost is such a severe problem that it's crippling Americans' ability to make ends meet, and it's a failure by Republicans to not recognize it and not be working on a solution.
Jeff Duncan.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
You tricked me.
Oh, we have a generational opportunity, a surplus that can truly be invested in the needs of Georgians.
Jeff Duncan.
Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams.
I didn't think we had surpluses back when she was in office.
She went 22 when she was running for governor.
For governor again. Okay.
On day one, I'll sign an executive order clarifying doctors can provide care without fear of prosecution and introduce legislation to repeal Georgia's 6-week ban.
Jeff Duncan.
Jeff Duncan.
2.0. Or is it 3.0?
Prices have not come down. People's wages have not gone up. Americans are continuing to have a very difficult time getting by.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
But you are really good at this, Buzz. Like, you've only missed a couple. Oh, this legislation not only protects our God-given right to protect yourself and your family, it returns rights that the federal government and state governments have stripped away. Talking about concealed carry and reciprocity.
That's Jeff Duncan.
That is Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh,
I gave her a conservative quote. Just
Jeff Duncan 1.0. I thought.
Boy, for me, the conversion was slow, but it was true. This is a medical decision, and it's a personal decision, and there should not be any intervention by a politician on abortion.
Jeff Duncan.
Stacey Abrams. But compare that. I'll give you one more.
All right.
I know I keep talking about affordability, but it's a reality folks are facing. There are folks scared about just paying rent next month, worried about being able to afford groceries.
That's MTG.
That is Jeff Duncan.
Oh.
Jeff Duncan, Stacey Abrams, and Marjorie Taylor Greene are essentially the same person to me now.
Oh.
What does that say? I mean, really, seriously. I mean,
what a time to be alive.
Buzz is really, for those listening, I'm not talking to Buzz right now. I'm talking to you, listener. Like, did you get as many as Buzz did? When I put these together, I thought there's no way Buzz is going to get this stuff. It's like he read my book or something. He got so many of them right. Like, kudos, Buzz. Well done. But if you're listening or you're watching this, drop in the comments. How many did you get right? And be honest. Every comment, remember, you might get merch if you drop a comment. I want to know, how many did you get? Because I guarantee you didn't get nearly as many as Buzz. Because these three people are essentially the same person now.
Oh.
There is very little. I mean, I'll give Marjorie credit on the abortion and the guns issue, right? But she is adopting progressive.
Right. She hasn't changed on those, right?
Right.
With MTG is populist economics, right?
Right. It's socialism.
It's the Obama
wrapped in MAGA.
Obama 2008, circa 2008 economic policies have engulfed her and Josh Hawley and a bunch of others.
It's stunning to read these quotes and realize any one of them could have said it. Except for the abortion.
All right, so here's since we're just shooting the breeze here. Here's a thought experiment. If Georgia's ballot access laws were made it easier for independents to get on the ballot, would Jeff Duncan have switched parties? Would Marjorie Taylor Greene run as a Republican again, or would she run as an independent?
I think you would know better than me. I think for Jeff, it's about beating Trump. I don't think it's about, I really think it's really what it boils down to. I think he's willing to.
And I maintain, I still believe this to be true, and maybe I'll be proven wrong. Jeff is a very charismatic guy, and I think he thinks if I can just talk to people and explain to them that there's a better way to do politics, that they'll listen. It fell on deaf ears in the Republican Party, and he's given it a go on the Democratic side.
Well, hang on, time out, okay? I think that is Jeff still being delusional. I'll give you this, a brilliant illustration of this happened this week on the AJC's Facebook page, where they posted a photo of Jeff Duncan at a campaign event at a place in Atlanta called Black Coffee. On the wall were the Black Democrats' Mount Rushmore, if you will. It's like John Lewis.
Sure.
And right? You know who was on the wall in the background in that mural on the wall? Jeff Duncan is talking to this guy.
I know the answer because you said
Keisha
it
Lance
in the chat.
Bottoms.
Yes.
The front runner for the Democratic nomination for governor was on the wall.
Sure.
In the place where you picked to have a campaign event. He is oblivious to reality. If you go into that environment and you're like, hey, I'd like for you to vote for me for governor as a Democrat, and I've said all these things about guns. Oh, the liberal gun grabbers are worried about my NRA A grade. You don't think they're going to use that against you? There is nothing you can say to them to make them forget that you were smiling on the day the heartbeat bill was signed. Mm-hmm. Governor Kemp spoke for 3.5 minutes. I was in the room when he signed that bill. I wasn't standing behind the desk. I was behind the cameras in the back of the room. Mm-hmm. And I watched Jeff Duncan smile when the governor signed that bill into law and during his 3.5-minute comments about how we are a state that protects life and stands up for the people who cannot stand up for themselves.
Right. And that's why I wonder the better play for Jeff and perhaps for Marjorie, if she continues to be so disenchanted with the Republican Party and the good old boys who are keeping her down, run as an independent.
I don't know, dude. I don't think that's it. I just think it's
that ship has sailed, right?
Right.
For Jeff, obviously.
And he's also,
and it'd be really tough.
In the process, he completely sold himself. You can't tell me that the Jeff Duncan I knew really believes this crap.
Yeah.
You can't. He sold himself. But there's another Republican that also was very adamantly opposed to the heartbeat bill. And he was my seatmate. He sat to my left.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And that is Vernon Jones. Vernon Jones has decided that he is running for Secretary of State as a Republican. The weird thing about Vernon was, well, there's so much. I have a story. I'm going to tell you a story. Stay tuned. I'm going to tell you a funny Vernon story in a minute. And it has nothing to do with cuddles or anything else.
I'll tell you a scary one when you're done.
When I was in the House one day, I needed to step out of a conference or committee hearing to take a phone call. And I walked into this office suite that was right next to that. And it happened to be where Vernon Jones' office was. Now, this time, Vernon Jones is a Democrat from DeKalb County. He's not a Republican. I ducked into his office to close the door and take the call. And on the wall were 2 pictures of Donald Trump. Okay. Tell me your story. And first, let's give us a breakdown. What do you think his chances are? How does this impact the race? And then we can tell more Vernon stories after that.
Well, I don't think he has much of a chance, but a former colleague of ours called me today who used to represent part of DeKalb County and knows Vernon, has observed Vernon's political career for a long time. And he said, this race is over. He's going to win. Now, I don't know. I have a hard time believing that. But anyway, here's my Vernon Jones story. The last Republican convention I attended with the 7th District Republican Convention, it was during that brief period of time when Vernon was running for governor. And he came and spoke. And that's really, I've seen Vernon around. I've seen his, observed his campaign from afar, his career rather, from afar for a long time. And of course, got to know him a little bit there in the House. He is a very charismatic guy. He can deliver a speech that will bring the House down. And he did. And he gave what, if you didn't know better, was one of the most beautiful explanations of why somebody should be pro-life that I think I've ever heard. And this gentleman sitting next to me said, wow, I think I'm for this guy. What do you think, Buzz? And I said, that was a beautiful speech. One big fly in the ointment here. He voted against the heartbeat bill just a few months ago and
He went
delivered
to the well to speak against it.
Yes, delivered a
Told Republicans we'd
stem-winder,
lose elections over it.
Yes, a fire and brimstone speech against it. And the guy said, "What?" I said, "You can look it up. You don't have to take my word for it. You can look it up." He goes, "No, that can't be."
Totally
It's
true
true.
story.
It's true.
Totally true story.
Yes.
Totally. It's funny how politicians try to reinvent
So,
themselves.
if people don't dig into Vernon's career and question and it's up to the other Republicans in the race, if he starts to gain some traction, there's a plethora of contradictions in the political
This is
career
the-
of Vernon Jones.
Fourth Republican to announce, right?
Yes.
So we have Kelvin King, Tim Fleming, now Vernon Jones, and Gabe Sterling.
Yes.
Very clearly, this helps Gabe. the
Yes,
most.
this helps Gabe, and I think it hurts Kelvin King most of all. Anything to
Dude,
do with both being African Americans,
I
they're
like
going to
Kelvin
go
King.
after the same. I do too, but they're competing for the same constituency.
I
here.
like Kelvin King.
I do too.
When he
a
came
lot.
to our podcast, if you go back and watch that episode, there was nothing substantive. It was all platitudes. There was no real, and then frankly, as much as I like him, he doesn't come across with the same panache. He doesn't have the charisma that Vernon Jones has. Vernon Jones, say what you will about the dude, he's a charismatic dude.
Oh, no doubt about it.
He's dripping in charisma.
Absolutely.
Put him on a debate stage next to Kelvin King. Kelvin's going to look like part of the background.
Well,
He's gonna
and
blend in.
Look, and Tim Fleming, Representative Fleming, and Gabe Sterling are going to have to. They're going to have to bring it because he's going to. If you're just, I don't mean this in an insulting way. You're just average voter out there who catches, the
who
Loudermilk
thinks that Vernon
debate.
Jones is pro-life
Yes,
because Vernon Jones is now saying that.
and
he's
he
pro-life.
right, and he talks about how I used to run the government of the third largest county in the state, second largest county in the state. I was fantastic at it, and I know how to run this office. And by God, there won't be any Donald Trump who has nothing to fear with me because I'm going to make sure that the elections are clean and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, man. Maybe our former colleague was right. He might be a serious candidate here.
I don't know. I don't know. I will tell you one quick story, and then we're going to go move to the last topic. And that is when I was leaving the legislature, before we broke for COVID, one of the things I got to experience was I sat as a white guy from a white straight man from Cherokee County, sitting next to Carla Drenner on my right, DeKalb County, and Vernon Jones to my left, DeKalb County, and them just fighting each other with me sitting in the middle. I liked Carla. I would kid around with Vernon every once in a while, but we did not have, I would not call friendship. I to this day, I mean, Carla called me a couple of weeks ago. We ended up on the phone for 2.5 hours together. I like Carla.
Sure.
But I term limited myself. And people, in my last year, it started getting around. Oh, Scott's not coming back. And so Vernon Jones comes to me, he's sitting there, and he says, and I've got other Vernon Jones stories too, but this is just one. He says,
We all do.
"Man, you're not coming back?" He goes, I was like, "No, I'm gone." He goes, "That's good." I was like, "Thanks." He said, "No, that's good because you are a terrible person." I said, "Well, tell me how you really feel, Vernon." "No, I mean it, Scott. I mean, you're just bad. You're just a terrible human being. I mean, it's just nothing good about you." And I looked him straight in the eye and I said, "Vernon, I'm not so bad. When you're in prison, I will come visit you."
Oh, man.
I am not at all concerned that Vernon Jones can win the nomination, let alone that election. If he does somehow get the nomination, I think we're losing it.
Yeah.
And that's what the Democrats haven't even fielded a candidate for that
Right.
spot yet. Vernon Jones is our nominee. We are screwed with 2 syllables. 2
Yeah.
syllables.
Now, you want to start a rumor? Does B Win run again?
I don't know. There's nobody over there is talking
not?
about it. You know, there was a rumor for a while. It might have been Syra Draper, but I think that's a rumor only. I so much so I'm not even going to put it on the rumor tracker. I think she feels like her best spot right now to be effective for the Democratic cause is where she is.
Mm-hmm.
So If that's subject to change, nothing's written in stone. But before we go, we've been beating up on some Republicans here last few weeks, really
Yes.
about all kinds of things, we talked about Josh Hawley last week.
Yeah.
We did a whole segment where Josh Hawley is now embracing progressive talking points and talking about income inequality. I don't know where the Republican Party went. Marjorie Taylor Greene recently said she's not sure if the Republican Party left her or if she just left the Republican Party. I don't think she ever was really down with the traditional conservative limited government free market thing. That's not what populism is. But Josh Hawley supposedly was, and as a result, I want to start lifting up whenever I can find one, a Republican elected who is talking about the same things that I care about: free market, limited government. And I've been telling you for a while now. America first does not mean America alone, and it doesn't mean America only.
Mm-hmm.
We have a shining example out of the Georgia congressional delegation. I will leave it to him in his own words. This is Congressman Rich McCormick from Georgia's 7th Congressional.
That America first is not isolationism. China circumnavigated the world before Magellan back in about 1421. They had more wealth, they had more science, they had more trade, they had everything in their basket. They were the world power at the time. They had more wealth than all of Europe combined in the 15th century. They became isolationists. We know what happened to them after that? They became irrelevant.
Yeah.
And by the way, if we do that, we become irrelevant in our influence. We can no longer negotiate tariffs once we become isolationists, truly. If we're not helping other countries, they don't care what we say. China will fill that void. They will become the world superpower. We'll become a forgotten Great Britain style. We'll still be powerful. We'll still have a great economy, but nothing like we enjoy right now. America first is being involved. That America.
Mm-hmm.
America first is America involved. Gives me goosebumps. I mean,
yes,
it
that's
shouldn't.
Good stuff.
It shouldn't give me goosebumps. I shouldn't have this reaction. But the reason why it's giving me goosebumps is because it's so rare right now. It's so rare to see somebody say, hey, look, I'm down with America first. I get it. I get the frustration when you see your tax dollars being spent for LGBT coloring books or the production of a gay play in some third world country. I get that. I'm with you. But it doesn't mean that we have to isolate ourselves. And I'm sorry, Marjorie Taylor Greene is an isolationist. Mm-hmm. I once said she thinks America first means America only. Shortly thereafter, she started on her Twitter account saying America only.
Right.
She ran straight into it. And I'm sorry, but this is exciting to me. Am I a nerd, Buzz, for being excited about Rich McCormick's embrace?
Yeah. Yes, but you're right to be excited. You're right to be excited. That's good stuff. Kudos to Congressman McCormick.
Somebody get this to Rich. Tell him, love you, bro.
You got a couple fans sitting right here. Yeah.
I mean, wow. 10 years ago, this wouldn't have been anything to do a segment on a podcast and politics about. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's basic stuff.
Right.
It's basic conservatism, like recognizing we are competing for influence on a world stage against countries who don't share our values and would much rather be in control of everything. And somehow that has become rare to the point where it gives me goosebumps. I'm excited by it. It shouldn't, though. It's sort of sad that I am for two reasons. One, I'm such a nerd. Don't be like Scott. Scott's a big old nerd.
Nerds rule the world now, so that's okay.
No kidding. We've reached the end of the show. Aren't you happy? Hopefully you were entertained. I really like the Who Said It segment. Buzz knocks it out of the park, though. Jeez, Pete, I got to make them harder next time. Good Lord. This is the part of the show where we thank our Patreons because they rock. We call them the people who rock because they actually do rock. They reach into their pocket voluntarily. You don't have to. Obviously, if the majority of you all do not give us anything at patreon.com/peachpundit, then that's fine. You just won't be added to the list of people who rock. And you might actually rock. but it only costs you $5 to get added to the People Who Rock.
And you
can
miss
join us
out
in
on
that.
the exciting Patreon chat.
That chat is lit. And it's not the type, honestly, where we're making any type of anti-Semitic jokes. So,
Nope.
and I think it's pretty diverse politically these days. We have some folks from different parts
Yeah.
of the ideological spectrum in there. You don't have to be a hardcore, anarcho-capitalist like Jason Pye. Classically liberal, I think is what he actually calls himself. Or a conservative like Buzz, or pseudo-libertarian like me. You can be whatever you want in there and just share your funny thoughts on the events of the day. It's awesome.
Yep.
At $5, you get to join that. People Who Rock are Greer Howard. Thank you, Greer, for signing up this week. Welcome to the family. Amy Carter, Ken Pullen, Kenyatta Mitchell, Eric Johnson, Sergio Ortega, Bill Werkheiser, Bethany Ballard, Justin Wright, Brett Harrell, Reed Powell, John Vestal, Ryan Graham, Bo Brannon, our anonymous guy, Mike Buchert, Ron Daniels, Stuart Wilkinson, Robert Lee, Tony West, Colin Martin, James Hall, Ryan Purvis, Hank Burnham, Jeff Cobble, Shannon Ferguson, Jordan Reed, and the original OG Patreon, Sam Thomas. Thank you all again. Like, subscribe, drop a comment. You'll be entered into the drawing to win some merch. And also, if you've gotten some merch, send me some pics of you wearing the merch, man. What are we doing here? What are you doing? We'll catch you next week.
Go Jackets, beat Duke.